I do it for the culture. I do it for the people. I do it for the love of it. I do it for the culture. I do it for the people. I do it for the love of it. My people build pyramids of light and the filament. Our light is heaven sent. That's right, we intelligent. Better tell the president the culture at his residence.
Hello, world. This is your girl, Asia Towns. You are now listening to the Culture Podcast. I thank you guys for listening to me wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the series, Creating Creations, Exploring the Minds and Talents of Black Independent Artists. I've had a great time recording those shows. Now I want to get into a few other things that the culture has to offer, because our culture is amazing. We are writers, dancers, painters, engineers, rappers, singers, producers. I'm exploring all of that. This is all for us. I am very excited because I have my first author on by the name of Tommie Stanfield. His first book is coming out on November 25th. November 25th. I'm all excited. Look at me. And he's young. He's 19. He's here in Cleveland, and he's doing his thing. I just wanted to introduce him to the world because we are pushing the new Toni Morrisons, James Baldwin, Zora Neale Hurston's, Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou's, Richard Wright. We're raising them, and we are them, and we are the new generation of absolutely amazing artists, and we want to honor our former and current authors and poets and just activists. And I just want you to hear this episode because the interview that I had with him, he's just so cool. He's a really mellow kid. He's good. His book is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get it. It's going to be released November 25th. Hey everybody, this is your girl Asia Towns, of course, and I am very excited because I have my first author. I am interviewing my first author, and he is Tommie Stanfield, and the book is called Where to Start. Tommie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having the gift of writing and releasing this book. How about that? How about thank you for that?
No problem.
What's going on? What is going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You look good. Nice
Thank you.
fresh face. Got the haircut. Hey. Oh, yeah. So what's going on? I'm just really glad that you're here because I got a chance to talk to you before and got a chance to look at a few, you let me peek in the book, and just real quick, just to let you guys know, this book is awesome. It's a book of poetry, inspiration, real life experiences. Some of the titles of the poems are Distinction, Attachment, Observing, Lesson Learned, Spreading Love, Lust, Peace, Fear of Lust, Fear of Love, Clear My Mind. Listen, the list goes on of all these dope titles and these dope poems. Tell us about why, how, when, what, where. When did you start writing?
So I started writing around 5th grade when my older brother Dennis, he decided he wanted to write a poetry book. So at his release party, like I seen how everybody was like walking around and reading and like congratulating him on his like ability to write poetry and to come up with a book. So that kind of sparked something in my mind saying
5th grade, that's what's up.
Yeah, like that maybe like I would want to try this out too. Like he always like just around the house, he's always like on his phone typing like maybe a poem or something. Always on his computer, making like his different like chapters and stuff, like just typing up all his poetry. So I was like, I want to give it a try. So I think it was around 5th grade, 5th, 6th grade. I started writing poetry. It was nothing major, just like maybe like here or there. And it wasn't like, I didn't know much, so I couldn't really write about a lot. So,
but you knew there's something that you were interested in,
yeah,
and you put whatever
definitely
words you knew to the paper.
Right.
And
so,
did you write any rhymes like roses are red type of situations?
I don't think I quite did that. It was more
A little bit deeper.
yeah.
I dig
But
it.
yeah. So it was around like maybe 7th grade. I joined a poetry group with some of my friends.
Okay.
And so they were it was called the Distinguished Gentlemen of Spoken Word.
Oh wow.
So we wrote poetry, we performed spoken word to different areas around like Cleveland. And so I did that my 7th grade year and my 8th grade year. But towards like the end or towards the summer of my 8th grade year going into high school, I kind of drifted away because they were kind of like forcing me to write poems, and I didn't really like that, so I kind of like drifted away from it. So I kind of was lost in like the poetry atmosphere.
Yeah.
Until
or
like,
the forceful poetry. Yeah, right.
Until I graduated high school. So my 4 years of high school, I didn't write anything. But when I graduated, that like September when I started college, it kind of like sparked something. So I started writing again.
Yeah, and then going hard. So just real quick, everybody, this black young author is 19 years of age. So keep that in mind as you're listening. He's awesome. So basically last year you started writing again.
Last September.
Yeah. And then you started, when did you realize like, hey, I want to write a book? When did you make that decision?
Book. So I made that decision in 6th grade. So
yeah. And you just felt that was the time.
Yeah, I just felt like that was the time because like my brother was coming out with his second book, and I was like, I want to come out with a book too. So I had, it was around like maybe 85% done. I had like all my chapter titles. I had like all the poems in there. I had to like maybe tweak a couple, but most of the poems were done. And then I just wasn't feeling it anymore. Like probably towards the beginning of 8th grade year, even though I was still writing, like it just, I just kind of feel like I couldn't do it in a way. But
and then you started back up years later.
I started back up years later. Last September, I started writing again, like not in the mind state of making a book, but just for self-expression. Because
getting back in the groove, really.
Exactly.
And then from 8th grade to college, you're a whole different person.
Yeah, exactly.
You've matured and you've grown and you've learned and you've experienced different things that you wasn't experiencing when you were in 5th grade or 8th grade. So it was a lot more to write about and a lot more, moments to express thoroughly. So I think that possibly had something to do with it. So you started writing, and you're like, okay, I'm back in a groove. I'm back in a groove. Like, hey, let's get this book going.
Yeah.
And so how long was that process? How long did it process? And then was there times where you felt like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have started back up. I'm cool. I'm frustrated. It's annoying.
So the answer to the first question, how long it took, I maybe started, or I got the idea in my head that I wanted to write a book in May of this year.
Okay.
So I started writing back in September, but it was just like, it was very light. Like it wasn't like maybe a couple of times a month. Like it was nothing like that intense, but it started getting more intense in like maybe March and April. So I was writing more extensively. I was writing almost every day about like everything I saw, I felt, what other people felt. I try to take other people's like experiences into consideration for my poetry. So I was writing so much. I was thinking like maybe I should try to give like this book a thing again. So I started by thinking of the different chapters I wanted to do, the title of the book, and like which direction I want to go. So I started writing more of in May, and then I finished around maybe the beginning of August. And after that, learning all about like the technicalities of
writing
publishing, actually publishing it. So, and then to answer your second question, I really didn't feel any like doubt in writing a book. So because everything was in self-expression, and I had a direction I wanted to go in, and I just pursued it because I kept writing like a lot. So it was, I wasn't like discouraged because I didn't have like any like mental block or any writer's block. So
that's good.
it was just all like fluid.
Yeah, that's amazing because you had took so much time off. You better not have no writer's block.
Right.
You had better been clear on your mind. Right. No, that's dope. So you mentioned your brother earlier, back when you were, younger, like 5th and 6th grade. Would you say like he's one of your, inspiration, or is he like, does he add, texture? Does he add that extra push to your motivation for doing what you do?
Yes, I would say he's a giant influence, or he's the reason why I started writing poetry.
Wow.
Even though like it's kind of weird because I never really actually read like a lot of his like poems, but like just knowing in my mind like he likes to write, and he likes to write poems, or he's writing poetry. So he was most definitely an inspiration, and he is like
the biggest.
Yeah, the biggest. Wow. Because he introduced me into like this world of poetry and what I can do. So
shout out to you, Mr. Mark Stanfield, on your gift and instilling that gift into your brother. You're dope for that. So boom, I want to talk about some other stuff. We didn't talk about your book. We talked about your brother. We talked about what motivates you. Let's get to know you. Tommie, what are some things you like to do? Also, right now, who's your favorite artist?
Okay, so
boom.
Some things I like to do. So, number one on the list, I will put listen to music, because I love music. Like,
y'all check that out right there?
I have to listen to music every day. Like, if you see me, most of the time, I'm going to have my headphones in because I'm listening to something. Music, I would have to say writing poetry, just
clearly.
It's just something that just comes out naturally now.
Right.
Play sports. I love to play all sports. We got basketball, football, baseball, golf.
All that.
All of them.
All the good stuff.
All of it.
So boom, who's your favorite artist? And what is your thought, being that you're 19? Because I'm a little bit older. I'm an old folk. A lot of people are like, no, you not. I'm is right now. Let me be old. So mumble rap, what's up? Because you're 19, because a lot of the younger generation, in my opinion, and possibly factual, are. I've met some that are not into mumble rap, and I met some that are. Like, I know a lot of Kendrick and J. Cole fans, and they're like, oh, nah, I'm not a Young Thug.
Yeah.
Or Kodak, what is it?
Kodak Black.
For him, yeah. Or Colden fan, no. Or 21 Savage.
Yeah.
I've been educated. Boo Boo. A Boogie.
Oh, A Boogie.
I said A Boo.
A Boo Boo.
A Boo Boo. Right. So, mumble rap, what is your thoughts? Because, no, first of all, excuse me, I'm sorry. Favorite artist. So rap artist.
Favorite rap artist. Okay, so that's strictly rap. All right,
strictly rap. What's good?
I'm gonna put Kendrick at the top.
Okay.
Because like he's a giant influence to me too.
Yeah.
Because just his like all his albums have like a concept to it, or have like a whole lot of concepts to it, so it's like real like intricate, so it's a lot of like gems you can find like within his music,
subliminal messages,
right? Like my favorite album by him is To Pimp a Butterfly. That's
likewise,
like that whole album is an influence on this book,
no doubt. I love that. Dan was good. I love To Pimp a Butterfly. He's just an all around amazing. I love how he had Tupac on there. Like he was having a conversation with Tupac.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was super dope. So mumble rap. What's your take?
So
do you feel sometimes mumbly, like you want to listen?
Yeah. yeah. So I do listen to them.
Okay.
I mean it's all a part of like the evolution. Atmosphere of music. So If it's something I like, then I'm gonna listen to it no matter what nobody say. So I do listen to like the Young Thug. I listen to a little bit Kodak Black, 21 Savage, Travis Scott, like just mostly all the A Boogie with a hoodie. I listen to like most of them.
Okay. Yeah, so I heard the song by A Boogie, A Boo Boo, Drowning.
Yeah, Drowning.
It's you know what, we have to have our trap moments in life. We can't be conscious and serious all the time.
Yeah.
We gotta have a little trap up in there.
Right.
So yeah, I put on Drowning by A Boo Boo. And what other song? It's not a lot. Like Migos, I can get down with Migos when they were on that Drake track, Skrr Skrr. You know, I like that. I was like, So that was a good thing. But I don't know if that's mumble rap, but it's Skrr Skrr. I wanted to say that on the air because I just want to say it on the air. So let me get that off.
Right.
So music is an intricate part of, you know, the culture, our black culture. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that you know, I will stand for. I stand for our people, our culture. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about, the NFL.
The NFL.
What are your thoughts on like what's happening and what has happened and things like that? Shout out to Colin Kaepernick, by the way. First of all, if you're listening, Colin, contact me. Okay, go ahead.
So, my whole thing is that people need to like fully understand what Colin Kaepernick. Why Colin Kaepernick kneeled. Like it wasn't like protesting the flag. Like he wasn't protesting like the NFL. He wasn't protesting like just Trump specifically, but it was just the injustices that were happening to the black people,
innocent black men and women being slaughtered by the police. So and they've changed it. Yeah. They changed the reason why he did it to he hates the flag. No,
because they're trying to get people to go against him and be more
manipulate the mind. Try to flip it down and reverse it. You know, shout out to Missy Elliott. Also, Missy Elliott, if you're listening, also contact me. Tommy, thank you so much for coming. When is the release of the book?
The release of the book is November 25th. I'm sorry.
You tripping.
Yeah,
you excited.
Tripping.
You excited.
I'm too excited right now.
November 25th, the author, Tommie Stanfield's book, Where to Start, will be released and available on Amazon. Also, if you're looking for the book, please hit up the Culture Podcast at _culture now on Instagram. You can follow my personal page also at _Asia Towns, and you can follow Tommy at
young_Thomas_88 on Instagram.
Any questions, comments, we want to hear from you. We want to get your feedback. We thank you all for listening. Again, November 25th, Where to Start is dropping. Thank you so much, Tommy, for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Having a good time with me and converse with me. Peace and blessings. Make sure you guys are staying faithful to your purpose. Make sure you guys are loving yourself and moving in the path that is of righteousness to self and loving your community. Peace and love.
The culture, who we be. The culture, all I see. IMC for the culture. It be my ID for the culture. The culture, it grows in me for the culture. For my people, I'm choosing.